Hey everybody, welcome to the MD Power Hour. This week we will be doing a preview of the Flex Weekend Pro in Milan, Italy. And who knows the European bodybuilding scene better than Giles Tiger Thomas? I don't think any human being on this earth. No. So, Giles, welcome, welcome, welcome. We got a great lineup. You said this is better than Texas, better than Tampa. And after some names were added to this for the past couple of days, this is one of the best shows we've had all year. This is an incredible lineup. It's almost like the European Pro. It's almost like a European Olympia, basically.
Yeah.
Um, man, so we have to start with what we think is probably going to be first call out the top three guys. But let's start with the comeback of Nathan deAsha, because how you just had him on Global Muscle. Great interview. Check that out, guys. That was out this past Wednesday morning. Nathan has been gone. When was the last time we saw Nathan compete?
Prague 2021, because if you remember, he
Wow.
won 3 shows in a row. He won the NPC European in August. That was the one I was at doing live stream.
Yeah.
And then he went and won the Arnold UK and he beat Samson.
Yeah.
Then he went and won the Yamamoto. Then he went to Prague and I was watching it and Fuad was doing the commentary. And of course, Nathan was with Fuad at the time, obviously. And I was watching it and I was agreeing with Fuad because Fuad was saying, oh, Nathan's got this. Nathan's got this. And I agreed. Nathan got fourth. And that was Samson Dowda's first win. And I tell you what, this is actually an indication of how much progress Samson has made. He was 270 pounds on that stage.
Ooh.
And he wasn't even as hard as he is now. And now he's pretty much going to be walking on stage at about 300 pounds. So that's only in less than, year and a half, year and 3/4.
30 pounds, or if you want to consider with better condition, maybe 35 pounds of muscle.
Yeah, yeah.
Wow, that's
So
astonishing.
anyway, let's not talk about Samson. Let's talk about Nathan. I had Nathan, because I had Nathan on Global,
Yeah.
and it was really. It's been so good to see him back because I obviously tore both his biceps last year, and that was absolutely disastrous for him. And I think it takes a lot of mental fortitude, I call it testicular fortitude, balls, to make it back from not one but 2 bicep injuries. He's had fantastic surgery. I've zoomed in many times. I can't even tell. And he told me, he said, well, my left bicep, he said, has always been a little bit shorter. He says, but I had an accident years ago, and he said it was basically held on by one tendon anyway.
Wow.
So yeah, he looks absolutely fantastic. He's working with Stefan, forgot the last name now.
Kiesel, the boss of Outlaws. He's Urs Skalaczynski's coach. I believe it's Kiesel. It's Stefan. We know that.
Yeah, Stefan. And this guy's coming up faster because Urs did a seminar at Nathan's gym last year. And Nathan and Urs said, so what are you doing? Who's prepping you at the moment? He says, well, I'm kind of just doing my own thing. So he introduced him to Stefan, because he's only in Austria. So Nathan's been going back and forth, having some sessions. He's been fixing his posing. And he said, yeah, he's really, Nathan sent me a video, was it about 3-4 weeks ago? And he said that was a week old. So that was 5 weeks out. And his glutes and his hams were in. They were actually in. They looked like a week out, but his quads are a little bit watery. But, for 5 weeks out, he looking absolutely sensational. And with Nathan, he comes in so bloody fast. Like he changes like daily, that guy. He literally does 8-week preps, like serious 8-week preps. He goes on bloody holiday on stag do's at 9-10 weeks out and, doesn't eat for 3 days and all that. And Nathan is just the most unorthodox anomaly in bodybuilding. But he when he really turns it on, that guy is just, he's a master of transformation. So he said last week, he said he was 264, 265. And then he dropped him down to 2 carb meals a day. And now he's at 261. So he's pretty much as big as he's ever been. The waist looks even smaller. He's cut out red meat, and he said it's brought his waist in even more. So for me, I don't really care what people think, but I think Nathan's going to win this. I think he's going to get win number 10 because Nathan said he wants to beat Dorian's record, and he knows that 6 of Dorian's 15 wins are Olympia wins, but he said her win's a win. Go watch the interview. But he wants to get 16 before he calls it a day because he's 37 now.
Yeah, everyone noted on your Global interview his face. We call it. I hate. We don't want to say death face anymore because we've had too many deaths, but totally sucked in, caved in, and that is an indication, as you know, because in the past I've seen him where the face is a little full leading up to a show. And I was like, I don't know about this guy, and he usually was in great shape anyway. But this to me looks like he's going to take it to another level condition wise.
Well,
So
to be honest, he reminded me of Kevin Navrone, because I said to him at the start of the interview, and I said, because I used to, well, on the Grand Prix 92 to 97, I used to wait at the hotel where I knew they'd be arriving. So
yeah.
I used to wait there, and I basically, watch them coming in before the show, because 2 hours, 3 hours later, they'd be on stage. And I remember every year, Kevin Navrone's face was the first ones I always checked for, because he was always one of the first people that walked in. And some years his face was a little bit fuller, and I was like, he ain't in shape. And that was the years he wasn't in his best shape. The years he was in his best shape, he had the Nathan, Kevin Navrone, diet face like that. So as soon as he came on screen, I went, wow, you're in shape.
So the guy I think is going to give him the most trouble, and the guy who's possibly going to win, Regan Grimes. He's been working with Milos for a couple of years now. I remember he was on the Cutler podcast early this year, and Jay really he was very serious with him. He said, if you really want to be Mr. Olympia, you have to believe it in your heart. You have to believe you can do it. And I could see that Regan was really listening intently and absorbing everything Jay was saying. And I think he must believe it now, because I've never seen him look like this. I don't know what he weighs, but he is enormous, still has a beautiful shape to him. The rear lat spread pic that's been going viral, because he was in that was, I think, 3 weeks out, and he looked like he was ready to step on stage. This is the best Regan I've ever seen. And this is a guy that years ago decided to do classic and won the New York Pro at like 220 pounds or something ridiculous. Was it 2018? Yeah. That wasn't that long ago, 5 years ago. And look at him now. He looks like he ate that Regan Grimes. And Milos, I think he's been with Milos 2 or 3 years now.
Yeah.
It's been a great partnership. He moved, he made the commitment to move all the way from Canada to Las Vegas just to be under Milos's personal supervision the whole time. Seems like the gamble paid off, because I'm very, very impressed with Regan. I think he's going to give Nathan very, very hard time Sunday.
Well, I think I do see the top two as being Regan and Nathan. I do have Nathan winning, but obviously he's going to be up against an all-time best Regan, and Regan has beat him, because Regan beat him, I think, at that Prague show in 21.
Yeah.
He did beat him there. I'm sure he beat him there. I'm sure he was one of the top three. I think he was second to Samson that year. And yeah, I do. Yeah, the thing is, photos, he always looks great, and I don't know whether that actually translates to the stage. So I don't know if there's a bit of filtering going on there. I don't know. I know.
Well, he's been putting up videos too. It's not just still photos. There's been some videos. Okay. But well, fair enough. He does look. The pictures are very well taken. He's got a great lighting situation. He knows how to pose. I'm just really excited, because this is a guy that I wondered, would he be one of these guys with all the potential in the world who is never really going to capitalize and never reach his full potential? I thought he might have been one of those guys in the end, but looks to me like he's really stepping up. I think I want to say he's about 29 or 30 years old. I think he's still a very young guy.
Still young.
Yeah,
wow.
I don't even know if he's 30. But yeah, God, very, very eager to see what he brings to the stage, because as you say, Instagram versus reality, not always the same thing.
I think I'm interested to see how they look in the back shots, because Regan looks fantastic in the back shots. So does Nathan, but I think it's going to be close in the back shots. Because the thing is, they're both committed to the 3 shows. They're both committed to Italy, Spain, and France. Now, Nathan obviously wants to go and win all 3, but as we've seen with Prague in 2021, when he was on a roll, he was going for 4 wins. You can get first, and then 4th, and actually look great. So I think it could even come down to who's the head judge, honestly, and who likes those kinds of physiques. But they're both big guys, and they've both got good shape, which I think now is the future of open pro bodybuilding. I think that's what I've seen, like with Samson winning the Arnold, the shape, and there was more shredded guys, but they went for that overall aesthetic flow, So I think that might be a factor. But the thing is, they both have the same attributes. So, and they're both going to be around probably 250, 260. So they're both going to look good. I think we're going to see all-time best versions of both. So that's what I mean, like I said, I am so excited about this show. I mean, this for me, like the depth of this lineup. I mean, there was somebody said, how do you think so-and-so will do? I won't say the name. And I said, he won't be top 5. And they went, what?
I know exactly what you're talking about.
Yeah. And I was like, no, seriously, I know this lineup. I know this lineup inside out. I have seen some of these guys. Some of these guys you're probably not even counting on. I honestly, I think you'll be shocked at what happens this weekend.
I mean, I'm looking at some of these names, and these are guys that a couple of years ago you were hyping up, and I was like, eh. And I finally, once I really took a good look at them and saw them in the shows, I was like, wow, Giles Giles knew exactly what we was talking about. We're talking about guys like Theo and a few other
Mm.
guys from Europe that are just phenomenal. That just they didn't get a lot of hype, so they weren't on my radar. But let's talk about Blessing, because Blessing was a major disappointment. It was about 6 weeks ago in Chicago, right?
Mhm.
He looked like he was 6 weeks out. He was coaching himself, and the results were disastrous. Uh, just looked horrible. I'm sorry, Blessing. But on the flip side, he knew he at least he had a self-awareness to say, I can't do this by myself. It was an experiment, but it was a failed experiment. I need somebody to guide me through this. And he's working with someone from Matt Jansen's. I don't know if he's Matt's apprentice or associate, but it says Team Jansen, guy named Cameron Cheek. And the condition looks really good on him, really good. Probably as good as I've ever seen condition wise on Blessing. Um, Thing that does concern me is his legs, especially from the back. They do look like they've come down, and they were never enormous. He gets upset when people harp on the legs, but we have to harp on,
Got it.
otherwise we can't just say everyone's perfect and everyone's going to win. That's where I see him probably running into trouble with Nathan, and especially Regan. Regan's got phenomenal legs, but Blessing does have some of those attributes. He's a big guy, great shape, really wide up top with the shoulders and the upper back, tiny little waist. And if he can get those legs to match the upper body, I think he'd be more of a threat. But I still see him as a first call out guy and a threat for this. What do you think about Blessing?
To be honest, I'm really impressed with the pictures. I mean, he really sorted his shit out. But I think what he's been doing, I think this guy has been absolutely, because this guy obviously wants him to look good. So I think he's been absolutely punishing him, and I think he's been really hammering the cardio, and I think it's come off the legs like often does. When sometimes these guys they'll like Ronnie used to do 2 hours of cardio a day. I think it's something like that. And obviously Blessing's got this fire up his ass now because he's got this baby. And obviously he didn't want to see what happened in Chicago happen again. So yeah, the upper body looks fantastic. He's obviously been working hard, so hats off to him. But for me, he has lost fullness and size in the legs. I don't know. Sometimes though, you can see these progress videos, and then by the time they carb up and fill out, and everything kind of just comes together. But maybe it's the angle of the photo. I don't know. You can't always tell. But for me, the upper body looks as good as it did, I think, when he won the Indy last year.
Oh wow, okay, yeah.
Yeah, I think it looks really, really good. Everything looks detailed and full and big, and his shoulders look even bigger as well, which I don't know he's managed to do. The back looks fantastic, nicely separated, top to toe, top to bottom. But yeah, I think the legs. I think he's going to. I don't have Theo. Sorry, I don't have Blessing taking third here.
Okay, yeah. I mean, who do you have? Because we're in no particular order after this. There's the next few guys we're going to talk about. They're all phenomenal. They're all possible top 5 guys. But let's go to Theo Leguero.
Same.
How do you say it, man?
Le Guerrier.
Hang on, even I've been getting it wrong.
I can never get this right. Leguero. Theo from France.
Le Grand Fromage, the big cheese. That's what I called him. And his dad messages me. He says, he sends me progress videos and stuff, and he'll say, he says, the Le Grand Fromage. So I think the nickname I gave him was stuck.
Okay, good. Because I can pronounce that a little better. But yeah, Theo's one of those guys that a couple of years ago you were hyping him up, and I just wasn't impressed. And then he did a couple of US shows. I saw him, I think, at New York Pro.
Puerto.
Was he? And where else did he go? Tampa, was it?
Puerto Rico, when he was next to Akeem Williams, and he wasn't outsized.
Right.
That's when I think I realized how good he was, because like I said on Global in Hot News, like when you see him by himself, because I showed Derek, and Derek was like, yeah, he's good. When you see him by himself, he looks good, but it's when it's a sport of comparison. So it only really counts when he's next on stage to these other guys. And then you realize how freaking big he is. Like, he takes up a lot of room. He's very complete. He's always very conditioned. I mean, what was it last year? He did something like, was it 9 or 10 pro shows and was top 5 in every single one? Every single one. I mean, he's probably the most consistent, underrated bodybuilder in Europe right now. He's the one that probably no one has in their top 3. And I think that's nuts. I've got him solid third. I've got him beating Blessing. I've got him beating Blessing, and I think like I said, he's done that many shows, and he's really proven himself over and over and over again. I think if I was pushed, I would say I would have Theo definitely a solid third place.
I just want to commend the European pros. It seems on average they compete a lot more often. They're not afraid to compete. They're not afraid to compete throughout the year. Whereas a lot of these American pros, they'll only do multiple shows if they're like back-to-back weekends.
Yeah.
Where these guys, I've seen like Presti last year. I think from like March till December he was competing. You know, that's just one example. There's a few guys like that.
And
But
even when they've got wins, they still carry on competing.
right. Yeah. And you know, why not? Why not? Like you said, Nathan wants to win everything. Why would you? Yeah, there's that prevailing idea this they shouldn't keep competing. They got their Olympia qualification. They're robbing someone else of Olympia qualification. No, I don't want to see 30, 40 guys on the Olympics. What was it, 30? What do we have? Like 35 last year?
Something like that. Yeah.
Yeah. If you can't beat this guy who just won another show, why do you deserve to go to the Olympia? You're not going to beat him at the Olympia.
Well, yeah, it's like that Russell, what's his last name?
Ross Flanagan.
Yeah, Ross Flanagan. And then he won his show, and then he went and did Toronto the week later. I really respected him for doing that because it's very unusual. It's like I said to Nathan in Global. I said, Nathan, so say you win Italy. I said, are you going to pull out the other two shows? And he went, F no. He said, no. He said, because he likes making money, likes the prize money.
Yeah.
He's got his gym and he's looking to reinvest. He's also opening a second gym at the moment. So he likes to, and I think he gets, a lot of these athletes get bonuses from their sponsors as well. If they win there, they get, usually they get 50% or 100% of the prize money as bonuses. That's the smart ones always have that written into their contracts. So yeah, he's. So
let's we referenced the other Andrea, but Andrea Muzzi from Italy, very, very good, super wide up top. He actually kind of reminds me of the other Andrea. They have a lot of similarities with the structure and certain body parts, but Andrea Muzzi, no joke. This guy has got a very complete physique. He's thick, great structure and shape. I definitely see him as a first call out guy in this show. Agree?
Yeah,
disagree?
I've seen some pictures, but they're all from the front.
Wow.
Now, he looks fantastic from the front. Sometimes if he's not full, he can look a bit flat from the side because his chest isn't his best body part. But for me, it's from the back. He needed to tidy those back shots up because he turned to the back. I remember he did was it Italy or one of the shows last year? And he looked fantastic. He was so sharp, but he was a bit flat. Looked fantastic from the front, a little bit flat from the side, and from the back, it was like, oh no, that should keep him out of the top 3 or top 5 even. But he actually ended up still getting a good placing. So I hope the back shots are a little bit sharper and more detailed. Otherwise, if he's going up against guys like Theo who are complete, like Regan and guys like that, he will get smoked. But he looks in the pictures I've seen from the front, which obviously is his strongest poses. He does look good. He looks, I don't know whether he looks a bit smaller, where he's kind of come down a little bit, maybe a bit more, maybe to get the back in, because sometimes, when there's a stubborn body part, you have to drop an extra 5-10 pounds to get everything in, So if he's done that and his back is more detailed, he'll look great because he's a huge guy. I mean, his front lat spread and his frontal bicep. I mean, the guy's an absolute, his quads, he's an absolute monster, but I think he's got pretty good shape as well.
Speaking of big guys, Jen Turk from Czech Republic. Another guy with a lot of muscle. I believe he's a taller guy. I want to say he's about 6 foot or 6'1".
Yes.
But yeah, he had taken second to Carrizo, you said, at the Prague show.
Yes.
Which Carrizo is probably going to be a top 5, top 6 at the Olympia this year, most likely. So Jan's another guy that not on the radar of a lot of the American fans, but I think as he establishes himself and does more of these shows, and he's going to get a high placing. I can't see this guy doing any worse than 5th, 6th at the very worst. I think he's going to make an impact at this show.
I saw a progress video, and he definitely looks bigger. Thing is, he's another guy like Theo. He's very complete. He's very yes, he might need a little bit more thickness in the arms and areas like that because he is tall. He's got a big frame, but he's very top to toe. The conditioning, the separation, it's quality. Like his back shots. I saw some back shots on Instagram today, and he looked really, really good. But he's very, very complete. I don't know about top 5. He could get top 5 because his conditioning is very, very good. I think he'll sneak in the top 5 if some of the other the bigger names slip up.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and also, sorry to go back to, did you hear that Regan and Blessing did a $5,000 bet with each other?
As to who beats who?
Yeah.
Oh wow!
So I think Blessing's it's gonna cost him $5,000.
Oh geez, I mean, I hate to say that, but yeah, Blessing, don't be gambling your money like that. You just had a kid.
Don't do it.
But it's another guy I've been a fan of for a couple of years now. Is Tim Budesheim? Is he from Austria? He looks bigger. I don't recall him ever being this big and thick. and the condition. He's always been known for his condition. So he seems to be bringing in a totally different package for this show. Very excited to see how he does, because that's a guy I don't think a lot of people really, he doesn't get a lot of hype. He doesn't get a lot of publicity, Tim. He just pops up every now and then, but he's very, very consistent.
What did he get? I think he got about 8th or 9th or 7th or something in Chicago last year.
Yeah.
I thought he was going to be around 3rd, 4th, and then he got like 6th or 7th or something. But I mean, I remember when he made his pro debut at the San Marino, and he got called out, the first call out, because he turned pro the day before at the Amateur Olympia, and he got under 100. He was 100 kilos, so he was only 220 at the maximum. And then he got a call out with Brandon Curry, Cedric McMillan, and Hadi Choopan, 2 Mr. Olympias in there, and Cedric McMillan, and he got 4th place out of about 30. And I remember, because his conditioning, he's never nailed that condition since. Like the detail in his lower lats, it was freakish. You know, it was kind of like one of the highlights of the show, you know, which had a lot of highlights in it. But yeah, Tim looks really good. Tim looks good. He looks like he's been working hard. He's definitely improved. He's bigger. He's conditioned. And he's another guy. He's kind of one of those guys that's probably no one's really paying that much attention to. But I think that's a mistake if you do that.
This is a guy we both were big fans of. He made his pro debut last year, right after turning pro the day before. We're talking about Liang Yan from China. I can't remember which show. It was one of these. Romania, yeah, that's right.
I was there.
And he
walked right past me as he was walking on stage, because they brought him through the audience like that. And he's really short. And I was just like, holy shit, that guy's got some size. He was so thick. But he was a bit of a diamond in the rough, you know?
And I think the whole, you know, you were talking that he wasn't that far off 212 pounds. So we were wondering, is what's he going to do when he, you know, obviously he didn't have time to do much in one day, but for the coming season, would he be 212? Would he be better off staying as a 212 or push it to open? And yeah, he's going in with the big boys. He's not afraid, and he's thick as hell. You know, he's obviously, he's probably like 5'3" or 5'4" or something, but
5'5".
Yes, 5'5". Okay. Sorry, Leanne, but just so much round, full, thick muscle. This guy is he's a freak. So yeah, I'm glad to see him back.
Well, he's claiming. Now, bear in mind that he turned pro as a heavyweight, so he was under he was 220. He was 220, 100 kilos on stage. That's what I heard.
Yeah.
Obviously, he won the heavyweights. But he could have been a little bit sharper. That's why I maybe suggested that he go jumping straight into another 212 show, straight, you know, like immediately early this year or late last year. I don't know whether there was any more shows, because I was at the event. Obviously, I was there at the show, and Radislav, who won the 212. I was walking into the hotel the next morning, and I said, he says, Giles, he says, do you know what's happening with? No, he actually told me. He says that Shumi. He says, yeah, I've heard he's doing open, not 212. Thank God.
he probably would have beat him. Yeah.
But he's claiming in these recent videos.
Froze on me there, Giles.
Sorry, I froze out for a second.
Yeah,
he's claiming 5'5" and 240.
Wow.
I don't know whether I believe that. I think that's bullshit. I think that's bullshit. But even in the videos I saw, which were 1, 2, 3, I don't know, 1-2 weeks out, whatever, he looks a lot better than last year, a lot more developed and a lot more conditioned. Because for me, it was the pec line. He had no lower pec line. He needed more refinement and detail, and it looks like he's got that now. So, and when you think about like Lee Labrada was 5'4" at sort of 180, 190. This guy's 5'5" and 240.
If you really, I mean, that's 20 pounds of stage weight that he's added. That's astonishing. Romania wasn't even a year ago, right? What was that, November?
Yeah, I mean, the guy he's an absolute freak of nature, but it looks like his shape has improved as well. Sometimes they do when they put their size on the shoulders and increases the taper and the shoulder to waist, and the pecs look good, you know, everything. I mean, the guy is absolutely thick as a brick. For me, I think he's the one he's the dark horse that could slip in here and either get into the top 5, maybe even the top 3. I don't know, but I think he's the one I'm going to keep an eye out on, because that's my sort of wild card to upset a lot of the bigger names.
We discovered him there in Romania last year. So
yeah, So, nice guy. Well, super nice guy. I've messaged him back and forth and stuff.
Cool. So let's move on to fan favorite Roman Fritz from Germany. So Roman just won. There's so many European. He just won his first pro show in Spain, not even a month ago, I believe. And
Big man weekend.
Big man weekend. And he made a post, or someone quoted him saying, I was just sitting home ripped anyway, waiting for the Olympia. Might as well jump in. And that's a great attitude. Like, what? You're not doing anything until the Olympia anyway. You might as well. So again, I commend him for doing that because he did not need to. But yeah, this is a hell of a lineup. Roman looks phenomenal. He's definitely brought up the upper body. Not 100% matching legs yet, but it's getting very, very close. He's going to have a tough time. This is a stacked. I hate that word, but it's very appropriate here. Stacked. This is a great lineup. But I think Roman's got a good chance of being at least in that first call out. Great chance of top 5.
I don't know whether he can make top 5.
Yeah,
I don't know. Somebody. Yeah, I don't know. I think these guys are going to be too much for him. Going to be too much for him. I think he's like a 5th, 6th to 8th maybe. Because thing is, you think about, like, we've reeled off probably what, close to 10, like the top 10. We've discussed, normally we discuss like 3, 4, 5 guys. We've discussed 10 guys that really we've probably got in our top 5.
Yeah.
You know, it up on your fingers, you know, it's like not everyone can get in that top 5. I think he'll look good, and I think I really commend him for doing this show, you know, because he's you know, he's, like I say, he's prepping for the Olympia. He's already qualified, so why not? But yeah, I mean, I'd be happy if he made top 5, but I think he might struggle here.
So it took you about 6 months to get out of the hole of people thinking you're an Andrew Jack hater. Now they're going to think you're a Roman Fritz hater.
No, I'm not. I'm not.
We don't hate anybody. We have to be objective as possible, and you know, looking at strong points, weak points, what these guys bring to the table.
Ron, I hate it. I'm not biased. I hate everyone equally.
That's a Lee Priest quote. He says, Lee Priest. Well, he says, "I'm not racist. I hate everybody."
Yeah,
I've said that many times. I think that's brilliant. That quote. So there's 20 guys in this show. There's one guy I'm not familiar with him, but you had a little info on this gentleman from Russia, Artem Pakhniuk. Yeah, well, tell me about him, because I have never heard of this guy in my life.
I should have really checked, because I've got something in my memory. He was a classic.
Oh, okay.
He was classic, and he went up to open, and I can't remember the show. I think it might have been Romania last year. I think he got in the top 6. I think Schuming was 5th, and I'm sure I've got it. I might be wrong. I'm sure he was 6th. So he scraped in the top 6, you know, as an open in his first, I think it was one of his first open shows. But he had a really, really good physique, this guy. Really good physique, you know, and I think he's another one that could will probably, you know, be a good second call out guy. But he's another guy like some of these new Spanish guys like Fabio Lopez and the what's it called? The other guy with the big following. Oh, what's his name? Anyway,
he's got a great nickname. I can't remember what the nickname was, but he had a great nickname.
Yeah, but, you know, he's another new up and comer from this side of the world, you know. So he's another one just to keep an eye on, because, you know, these you know, sometimes when these guys jump out of classic and they allow their body to grow, they just grow. You know, the body really wants to grow, and they're obviously destined to be open guys. So yeah, just another nice looking physique, good quality muscle, but definitely a guy to keep an eye on.
Last guy we'll talk about. Geez, I lost my place here. Tomas Tabaciar from Slovakia. Seen him a couple times, not in person, but on the streams and everything. Very, very impressive. I don't know if he'll be a first call out guy, but certainly no worse than a second call out guy. But he could be first call out. We don't know how everyone's gonna look. But
yeah, this was the guy that came second at the 212 Prague. Sorry, was it Prague last year or Romania?
Right,
Prague.
that's right.
Yeah. He was second in the 212, and I had him winning. I had him winning. I think he's really got an incredible real double bicep. But obviously, this was a guy that really, you know, like some of these other guys that really struggled to make 212 and just wanted to grow. So it'll be interesting to see how he looks, because he's very complete. He won't be the biggest. He's probably going to be maximum 225, 230, maybe 220. I don't know. But very complete, very good quality physique. And I'm very, very eager to see if he looks better as an open, because sometimes these guys jump up to open from classic or 212 and you think, oh, you should have maybe stayed in your, you know. But, you know, as we've seen with guys like Derek Lunsford and Hadi jumping up from 212 to open, you know, not 3 out of 4 times it's actually a good decision. So I'm curious to see how he looks, and to see if he made the right decision from switching up from 212 to open.
And, you know, as we've discussed many times, we're going to see more and more 212 athletes either moving up in body weight or just staying where they are and seeing how they fare in the open, because I think a lot of them are seeing the success of guys like Clarita, Hadi, and Derek and realizing maybe I don't need to be 280 pounds on stage. Maybe it doesn't really matter what the scale says. Like in the old days, Lee Labrada, Muhammad Makawe, Lee Priest,
Yeah.
Sean Ray, we can go on and on. Before there was, it didn't matter. They were if you're good, you're good. Doesn't matter if you're 5'5" or 6'5". Who's 6'5"?
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
Do you think, for me, Clarida doing the Legion in 2021 and dropping down to 174 and winning and beating Regan and Sergio, do you think we'd have seen Lunsford and Hadi jump up to open? Oh no, actually Hadi did it before, didn't he? Hadi did it in 2019. I think because I'm just wondering if they saw that and thought, hey, maybe I should do it too. I mean, I know with Derek, his body was like his wife said to me at the Sunday seminar. She said he was eating kale salads and his body was growing. She said he was miserable because he couldn't eat. He said, I'm trying to keep my body weight down. I can't keep it down. It went up to 230, 240, 250, 260. And then Hadi says, oh, sod it. Let's just do open.
All salad. Yeah, I think in Derek's case, I think there was just no way his body was going to stay that light. He was just growing.
Thank God.
Yeah. This is it's kind of related, but I just want to mention this because it's funny. I did an interview with a guy. They call him NDO champ, Robert Wilmot. He turned pro at the Arnold. No, he didn't turn pro. He turned pro at the Universe, but he had taken second place at the Arnold Amateur. Funny story, because he was a heavyweight. He had to go run around the block and sauna and all this to make weight to be in the heavyweights. And then he got some bad information. He went out to watch the show and he saw the heavyweight class coming on stage. He missed his class, so he had to go in the supers. And do you know who he lost? He was 225 on the dot.
Yeah.
He lost. He says, I lost to this big French guy who had to be like 290 pounds. It was Morgan asked.
Oh, right.
Can you imagine missing your class and that's who you have to stand next to?
Oh, shit. Yeah, well, do you know what though? I remember seeing Kamal in the World Championships, and no one was paying attention to him backstage. I was with him, and everyone was just ignoring him because he's a little guy, like 180 or something. He gets on stage and he wins the overall, and he beat all the monsters in the the taller guys. He beat them all, the heavyweights and everything. He beat everyone. So it can happen if that physique is good enough. I mean, look what Kamal did at the Masters Olympia. He beat Phil Clayhar and Max Charles, who were looking the best they've looked for a while.
And that reminds me, guys, if you want to play a drinking game or a smoking game, whatever your preference is, go to Giles' interview with Kamal on MD Global, or any interview. Anytime Kamal says, to be honest, you have to take a drink or you have to take a toke, whatever it is. And
were you shocked to Kamal had winning the Olympia this year?
I can't remember right now. I'm a little loopy.
Walker.
Oh wow. Jeez.
Yeah, that hurt me. That really hurt me.
Well, you have Samson winning, right?
Samson or Derek?
Samson or Derek. I mean, yeah. I mean, anything you have. I always say, if you're good enough to be in the top 5 at the Olympia, under the right circumstances, you could win. Absolutely. If you're that good, you're the top 5 in the world. There's no reason it's not out of your potential.
I mean, look what Gunter did in 2002. He was 5th that year at the Olympia, and then a few weeks later at the Show of Strength, he beat Ronnie.
Yeah, I don't know about that.
I mean, would you have been able to? Could you have predicted that?
Never. No. I mean, Gunther was a guy who didn't even earn his way to the Olympia most of the time. Yeah. It's funny because people, they don't want. Who were they? They were mad that Breon Ansley's asking for a special invite to compete in the. He's trying to get an invite to do the 212 Olympia. Breon, because he doesn't. He'd rather not have to qualify.
Hang on. I'm going to be a hypocrite if I say I disagree with that, because I agreed with Derek Lunsford getting the open invite last year.
Right.
And I don't want to get caught on the comments. Because if I say he doesn't deserve that, even though he's a 3-time Classic Olympia champion, I'm going to look like one of the worst things you can be, and that's a hypocrite.
Yeah. Well, I want to clarify, because people think the special invitation is some sort of merit-based system. It's really not. It was just something that was tacked on to the Olympia. I don't even know if there's any official rule or guideline, but for many years, like Gunter, when Joe Weider was alive, he would have Gunter in the Olympia every year, just because Gunter was great for selling magazines and supplements, and he did have a very good physique as well. It's not like he was a schmuck or anything, but big, blonde, blue-eyed, massive guy, and he had not competed all year. He would just show up at the Olympia every year. So
Yep.
for those who are so upset that someone like Breon, a two-time classic physique Olympia champion, you know, is trying to get like, well, these other guys had to earn their way there. I'm like, yeah, you know what? It's not like, don't take it that seriously, guys. I know it might seem unjust, but really just let it go.
Like I said last year, I totally agreed with Derek Lunsford getting the special invite. It excited me. I didn't want to see that physique until it came on stage at Olympia, which I saw firsthand, you know, second row, and it was amazing. And it, you know, that impact wouldn't, if he'd have done Tampa or something a few weeks before, it wouldn't have been as a good a memory from that Olympia to have. So based on that decision last year, I can't be biased, and I have to say that give him the invite, let him have the invite, because I think Olympia winners should be like, if Shanique wanted to come back and do Wellness Olympia, I think she shouldn't have to qualify. I think she's a two or three time Olympia champ. Three?
Yeah, I mean, what?
So I think let them, if they're going to switch divisions and they're Olympia champion and they want to do a different division. I mean, look at Kamal's just done. Oh, he's done Open 212 Masters now, and he's, you know, and he's winning in all of them. Do you know what I mean? So I think these top champions, I think they should, these Olympia champions, and don't forget that is the absolute best of the best of the best, then I think they should be allowed.
And we're referencing multiple Olympia champions. Shanique didn't win just once. Breon didn't win just once. So come on. I think he's more than qualified to be in the 212 Olympia, even if he didn't have to go do a show.
Yeah. Let him give the invite, give him that pass on this one, because like I said, he won 2 Olympias, so so let him do it.
So I want to let people know this show is actually happening Sunday. All the European shows seem to be held on Sundays. It's on Sunday. It's happening. Well, it's a whole week. They have, Olympia, amateur. They have all this other stuff going on. Obviously, all these things are like 2-3 day events now. But the pro portion of this Flex Weekend Pro is happening Sunday, 4:30 p.m. Milan time. It's actually the same time as you. You're 5 hours ahead of me. So Italy is 1 hour ahead of UK, right? Yeah. So it's going to be 4:30 p.m. Milan. That's 10:30 a.m. Eastern. There is a stream, a pay-per-view available. It's that go to https://ifbbproitaly.info. Sure, you can find that. But like I always say, guys, the best resource for all the pro shows, schedule, and everything is ifbbpro.com. They have the schedules. They have links to all the promoter websites, everything, score sheets, everything you need to know. ifbbpro.com, because otherwise they're going to be messaging me and you asking all these questions when it's all there for you guys right there on the interwebs.
So then, Ron, I'm picking up that you're Team Regan and I'm Team Nathan for this one. So I think we need to pick a side, And I mean, I really don't see it that not being the top 2. I really do. I'm 100% that will be the top 2, and then I think third and fourth will be Theo, maybe Blessing, and but I tell you what, though, if Blessing doesn't look good, he could get low. I mean, sure. We don't know, because these guys are no joke, and there are some, like, if he stands next to that Shuming Liang, I mean, it might just be like, okay, well, this guy's clearly, or he might not. I don't know. So there's a lot of storylines and a lot of sort of different questions going to be raised with this one. But what a show this is going to be.
Shuming's legs are about this big each.
Oh, it's ridiculous. I mean, he's probably like Carlos Thomas Jr. He probably waddles when he walks. Do you know what I mean? I mean, he's seriously. I mean, what an exciting physique. When he came on stage, everyone was just messaging each other and saying, have you seen this guy? He's incredible. And I was putting all the videos up on MD Instagram, and the bloody views, it was 20,000 views or something, like, just some pose down stuff I was filming from the live stream table. Yeah. But so anyway, Ron, how's your leg?
It's going to be a long haul. Can't drive for a couple months, can't walk for a couple months. It's in an immobilizer. Surgery was a success.
Good.
I am going to try to get some more pain meds. I'm in agony. They underprescribed me, but I'll get it. I'm going to get that sorted straight away. Don't worry. No worries. I'm not going to sit here and suffer. Good. But appreciate the concern. And I want to thank everyone. I did get a ton of messages, tons of DMs, tons of text messages. So appreciate everybody's concern, reaching out, see how I was doing. So it's good to know that people care. It really is,
Well, it certainly gave me a lift last year when I was in hospital. I didn't honestly, 100%, I didn't expect what I got. Do you know what I mean? It was overwhelming, actually. In fact, the first night in my hospital, I was up to like 2 a.m. just messaging people back, and that was the day it happened, So it's reassuring that that people actually, and it does make a difference, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I don't want to compare our injuries, because your life was actually on the line. You had a heart attack and a triple bypass surgery.
Yep.
I just tore a damn quad. I'll live. my life was never in jeopardy. It's just mobility. Wow.
Have you had a message from Evan and Branch just to sort of say you're in the club now?
Evan, I did get him. Evan did reach out to me. I haven't heard from Branch. That's okay. I've got a dog named Branch. I'm fine.
So I think I've been renamed TRT Tiger, and I think you should be renamed Hop Along Harris.
Hop along, yeah. It's kind of how I'm limping along right now. Yeah, I've never used.
How long do you think? Do you think you'll be at the Olympia, and you'll be okay at the Olympia?
I better be.
Yeah.
I'm gonna have to. I'm on that. I do 2.5 units of growth hormone, which accelerates healing.
Yeah, good.
I do 200 micrograms of BPC 157 every morning.
Yeah.
So that's I'm doing. People are telling me get this TB 500. I don't know, but yeah, I'm doing anything I can to accelerate the healing process, because I can't miss the Olympia. Come on now.
Well, Zach Palm, when he did his, he got Pharma GH, and he drilled holes in his plasters because he had both legs.
Yeah.
He drilled holes, and he would site inject the area, and he said it definitely healed, like sped up the healing process. So
don't know if I'm going to do that. That sounds a little extreme to me, but okay.
Cool. Well, that's hardcore,
I just want to walk and drive. I'm not worried about building giant quads again, or squatting 500 pounds ever again. I'm fine. I just want to walk, drive, and honestly, my legs are never going to be small. I'll never have small legs.
Yeah.
So I'll get them back. No worries, mate.
Well, I like your plucky attitude. I think you've got a good. I think you'll be fine and stuff. So, but yeah, it was concerning, mate. I was like, no, how did you do that? So.
I want to remind people though, Nathan deAsha, great interview. It was about an hour long on MD Global Muscle. Check that out on this channel. You'll see he's very, very confident. Face is all caved in. Team Nathan, Team Regan. We'll see what happens. I'll be happy. I'll be very happy for either guy, or blessing. We're always happy for whoever wins. It's not like we don't want anybody to win.
Thing is, I can see, because Regan and Nathan are both committed to the 3 shows, so I can see one winning 1 or 2, and the other one winning 1. So it's going to be interesting over this next few weeks to see how they hold their peak, and if they can get better or worse, or do you know what I mean? Because Nathan's prepared, and Nathan also said he's doing the Olympia this year.
Great. Yeah, because there was some concern about him being able to get to the US.
I didn't ask because I didn't want to put him in that position, right, or feel that he has to. I didn't ask. When I went to his gym last year or the year before, he said that he'd messaged Nick Triggerly and said I had, because he was claiming you can't get to America, and he said he sent a picture of his visa on a DM. He said, but then Nick blocked him or something, or didn't respond or something. So yeah, it was. It was a bit hazy now, but that he did say definitely, I've got my visa. I was like, okay. I don't want to dispute that. So I didn't want to make him feel uncomfortable. But yeah, he said he's going to be at the Olympia. So
when was his last Olympia? 2019?
2018. He was 2016 he was 12th, 2017 he was 7th, and then in 2018 he was 8th, and then he hasn't been back since. Wow. And he's only 37, so he's still kind of, because he was a very young athlete when he turned pro and everything, because he was winning everything as a junior back in 2007, I think it was.
Wow.
So he's still only 37, so he's kind of coming into his peak years now, and I'm just really happy that the bicep. Can you imagine, psychologically, what you have to overcome to come back and compete as a bodybuilder and train the way you want to train, when you've torn both your biceps on separate occasions. He obviously has got a very, very strong mind, because I know he's cocky and all that, and he's a bit of a badass, Nathan. I tell you what, and when you speak to him, that guy has got self-belief, because like he said, he's not afraid to suffer when he's there. You could clearly tell by the face. So yeah, and of course, I'm looking forward to seeing Regan, because I was a bit not upset, but disappointed that he skipped Olympia. But I think maybe that was the right move for him, because he's looking fantastic now, and Milos has done an incredible job with him.
I'm very excited to see both of those guys on the Olympia stage, because it's been a long time. I don't know when was the last time Regan was in the Olympia.
I don't know. I can't remember.
I
I
don't
know
think.
he did the classic Olympia, but that was.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't. Someone will correct us in the comments, but I don't think he's done the Olympia, the Mr.
Yeah,
Olympia ever. I
I
don't think he
can't
has.
remember him. I can't remember him doing it. I can't remember him doing it. I don't have any memory in my head of that.
I don't think he ever has. So should be an
Wow.
even more interesting Olympia this year than it was already going to be. It's going to be one for the ages. So
Yeah.
yeah. So Sunday, I am planning on doing a little wrap up of the finals and give you guys the results. So keep your notifications on. You have to have them on YouTube and on your phones, guys, to know when we're going live. I do these all live. I try to do them immediately after the show's done. Like 2 seconds later, I try to start the video. Yeah. So that's it, guys. So check out all our great programming on this. We have MD Global Muscle, Buff Bombshell, Ron Line Reports, all kinds of cool stuff on this channel to check out. Please do like, subscribe, share, all that good stuff. Giles, thank you so much. As usual, these guys all from Europe, you are the foremost authority. I give you Europe, I give Miguel Chain South America, and I'll take part of America, part of the USA. We're good with that. Yeah. That's it. So everybody, thanks for watching MD Power Hour. This has been our preview of the Flex Weekend Pro happening Sunday in Milan, Italy. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Hey, did you like that video? Smash that like button, subscribe to MD, and please comment down below. Thanks for watching.